Are you all ready for your safari? Yay! It sounds good to me, Jumbo Debbie.
Jumbo, man.
Alright folks, Caribou, welcome aboard. Go ahead and slide all the way across your road, filling in all the available spaces. If you have any small children, you may want to place them in the center of the road. That's for their own safety. You can also feel free to tuck any loose items you may have in the net pouches in front of you. But most importantly, folks, just remember to do remain fully seated at all times. That's for your own safety. Watch your speed on the right, because Debbie's going to close those doors up in a second. Alright, and there's shut and locked, so don't turn it back down. Alright, Tony, let's go. See you in about 2 weeks. Alright, well, jumbo everybody, and welcome aboard Kilimanjaro Safaris. My name is Matt. I'll be your game driver on this 14-day photo safari of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. This was established about 1971 to help us to protect our local wildlife. But before we head into the reserve, just like to point out, directly above your heads, you've got some game spotting guides up there. Those are going to help you to point out any animals you may encounter throughout the next 2 weeks. I'm going to do my best to point out as many as I can for you and tell you a little bit about each one of them. Also, folks, do you know the most important rule on Kilimanjaro Safaris is to please, for your own safety, do remain fully seated at all times. Roads get really bumpy out here, especially with my driving. Don't want anybody getting hurt, so please remain fully seated at all times. But now let's head into the reserve now and check in with our airborne boarding. Give me 1 second to go ahead and double check with them. Airborne Patrol, this is Symbol 1. Over. Jumbo Wilson, we're just entering into the reserve around the Little Ituri Forest. Over.
I'm Jambu, Simbawan. Keep your eyes open and drive carefully. You should see lots of animals.
Roger that, Wilson. In fact, folks, I see some animals already. Take a look on your right-hand side. Looks like you've got a couple of okapi out there. Now, okapi are very shy and reclusive animals. They weren't even discovered by the Western world until about 1901. Took quite some time to discover them. Now, it looks like you do have a watering hole coming up ahead, and watering holes are very important mini grounds for animals here in the forest. We sometimes get to see rare species. I'm really hoping we'll get to see black rhinos, because they are amazing animals. They can charge at 35 miles an hour, weigh up to 3,000 pounds, have skin that's about 1 inch thick, which I know would make them sound very tough. But unfortunately, there are less than 4,000 of these black rhinos left in the entire world because of poaching. That's why we're trying very hard to protect them. But take a look up ahead. We do have a black rhino out there to your left-hand side, so definitely our lucky day. We got to see one with so few of them left. We try very hard to protect these black rhinos in our reserve. Let's see what other animals we can find out here. No, I think I spotted an animal coming up on this hill. It might be very difficult to spot it. Actually, take a look directly to your right first. You might see some animals in that opening down there. Those are greater kudu, the second largest antelope in all of Africa. They camouflage very well, but you might see this animal over here on the right. That's a bongo. Incredible to even catch a glimpse of a bongo because they are so seldom seen around here. They're known as the ghosts of the forest. Rarely ever get to see them. We have another animal coming up ahead. It's going to be on your left-hand side. That large bird out there, see it over there? That's a saddle-billed stork. Now, believe it or not, that bird is sitting down. When it stands up, it's the tallest stork in all of Africa. It can grow to be 5 feet tall, having a 9-foot wingspan. Huge birds. But right now, we're going to head towards the Safi River. We usually get to spot hippos. Do you want to see any hippos? Alright, that sounds good. Let's head over there. Now, you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled in the water because they'll stay submerged for 5 to 8 minutes at a time. That helps to keep them cool each day. They're also nocturnal, so during the daytime, such as during right now, probably see them mostly in the water, either sleeping, maybe just hanging around in the water. Really not too active though. See, don't spot too many back there. Let's take a look up ahead. Now don't worry if we can't find any out here to the right, because we do have another section of the Safi River coming up to our left in just a moment, and we'll hopefully find some more hippos over there. Now, these hippos become active at night. This is where you'll see the most active. They'll come completely out of the water, eat about 150 pounds of vegetation. Oh, there's some out there to your left-hand side. You can see them right along the edge of this island over here. It's sort of hard to tell how large they are when they're in the water like that, but a full-grown adult male can tip the scales at 5,000 pounds. Also, those white birds in the middle of the island out there, those are pink-backed pelicans. They will herd fish together in large groups, herding them into shallow waters. That helps them to catch those fish more easily. Some more hippos back there. And let's just keep on moving through the Safi River, seeing what other animals we can find out here. Oh great, looks like we found a really old bridge. Can't exactly turn back, so we'll just have to brave it out and go across. Oh, And there are Nile crocodiles down there too, so you're definitely going to want to remain fully seated and really hope for the best because they are much more aggressive than the American alligator. They've got powerful jaws strong enough to crush even the bones of their prey. I don't know if they're hungry, but I also don't want to find out, so I think we're going to get out of here. This is Symbol 1 here. Go ahead, Wilson.
Just wanted to let you know that my ground patrol has seen a lot of elephant activity near the red clay pit. You definitely want to check out that area.
Alright, thanks so much for the tip, Wilson. We'll definitely check out those red clay pits in a little bit. But right now, folks, on your right-hand side, we've got this old baobab tree. That is a very ancient tree. They'll grow to be about 2,000 years old. They also remain leafless just like that for 9 months each year. That helps them to retain water, especially throughout the dry season. So you might want to check this out too, because right up ahead, right here, this is my absolute favorite view of the entire savannah. It's a great shot. Love this view right here. Now, before I put out the animals, I'll tell you a little bit about the savannah itself. The Serengeti grassland stretch for hundreds of miles across all of East Africa. It's a super highway for millions of migrating animals each year. But it's also the year-round home to some more famous animals, such as lions and elephants. This is all part of the Africa that we are working really hard to try to conserve. Now, the first animals coming up on your right down here are going to be some reticulated giraffes. You can see one standing up, a couple laying down. There's a baby out there too, so that little baby laying down on the grass over there on the right. We'll try to get around the other side of these trees, get a better shot over there. Now, reticulated giraffes get their name from the Latin word reticulata. That means net, and that's due to that net-like pattern over the coast. Take a look on your left over here, too. You've got this large Patterson eland, the largest antelope in all of Africa. They are so large the males can stand at 6 feet tall to shoulders, weighing about 2,000 pounds. Some more on the left-hand side over here, right behind that brush. Over there to the right, we also got 2 Grant zebra. Now, believe it or not, no 2 Grant zebra are exactly alike. They each have their own unique striping pattern. Also got some white greater wildebeest down here on the right-hand side. They are part of one of the largest animal migrations on Earth. Over 1.5 million of them migrate across the savannah each year. Now, we got some more animals on the left. The cinnamon-colored animals are impalas. They can jump very far, about 30 feet in a single bound. They can jump extremely far in one leap. Also, those animals in the brush out there to your left are Ankole cattle. You can see their horns. The horns of the Ankole cattle grow to be 6 feet long, having a 20-inch circumference at the base. And also these large mounds of earth on either side are termite mounds. You got a huge termite mound on the left-hand side up here. Now, although their only building materials are termite saliva and dirt, they are as tough as concrete. In fact, they're so tough that African elephants like to use them as scratching posts. You might see them rubbing up against them every once in a while. Now, here comes this baby reticulated giraffe on the right-hand side up here. Let's see this little one. Now, you see how tall they are. Now, the babies, when they're born, can already stand at 6 feet tall, and a full-grown adult male can grow to be 18 to 20 feet tall, weighing 2,000 to 2,500 pounds. Here's this other reticulated giraffe really close on the right-hand side over here. You know, I'm not surprised it's eating, because most of them tend to eat about 16 to 20 hours each day. Just do a lot of feeding. A lot of eating. There's another one on the left-hand side over here, right by this tree. I think it's licking the tree. It must taste good. Alright, well, let's see what other animals we can find out here. You can see a lot back there. Looks like not too many over here, though. That's right. Let's take a look around the other side of this brush. All these bushes, see if we can find anything else over around the bend. Really looks like not too much right over in this part of the savannah. So, guess what we'll do at this point is, you may have heard Wilson mention back that he saw some elephant activity with the red clay pits, and we are getting really close to that area. So, as long as we're in the area, there's nothing else nearby, I might as well head over there and see if we can find any African elephants before they move off too far. Now, we should be there in just a couple of minutes, so I guess you can just sit back and relax. We should be there shortly.
What is your location? Over.
Near Monkey Point, heading towards Elephant Country. Over.
Keep your eyes open for me. We picked up a baby elephant that was wandering off on its own. We can't find the mother. I'm afraid torches may be in the reserve.
Roger that, Wilson. We will definitely keep an eye out. Over. Okay, folks, really keep your eyes peeled for suspicious activity while we're out here. That does not sound good to me at all. But on your right, we do have an African elephant coming up over there on your right-hand side. At the other end of that watering hole, you can see how large it is. In fact, a mature male African elephant can grow to be 12,000 pounds. But you know, another great thing about this area is we get a really good radio frequency. So let's turn on the radio, see if we can find any local radio stations out here. Perfect. This is one of the most popular songs in Harambe, so if you know the words, definitely sing along. Let's see. There's another one out there to the right-hand side as well. Let's see if we can find any more at the red clay pits, so let's start heading towards that area. You know what, let me mute this for just a minute. You think we're across another rusty old bridge. We got many here in Harambe, but as long as we keep it pulley very slowly, we should be okay. Now this road straight in front of us should take us right on down into the red clay pits, so see if we can find any signs of African elephants being nearby. So I might as well get off that bridge. Let's take a look down here. Now I think I noticed some footprints down there. Oh, I've got some tusk marks over here on the right as well. Looks like they have been nearby. Now they like to eat this red clay. That provides them with extra nutrition, giving them lots of beneficial minerals. I really hope they haven't gotten up too far, but while I'm looking, let me just explain why I'm worried about that mother elephant being missing and the baby out there all by itself. There's actually a couple of reasons. Now, one reason is because mothers typically stay with their babies for about 13 to 15 years taking care of them, so as you can imagine, a baby African elephant can't be doing too well by itself there without its mother. But the other reason why I'm worried is because, well, both males and females have ivory tusks, and unfortunately, poachers have discovered that they can make a lot of money with those tusks. They try very hard to get into our reserve. That's why we try really hard to keep them out as well. Do you see some coming up ahead? We'll try to move in a little closer. Looks like they're down at that watering hole. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they're eating, since most African elephants tend to eat about 300 pounds of grass each day. Really eat a lot. Oh, there's a baby playing in the watering hole down here. There's a couple of babies playing down here on the left in this watering hole. Now, up ahead of this next watering hole on the left, we've got plenty of greater flamingos. These are the brightest colored flamingos in all of Africa. But, believe it or not, when they're born and they hatch, they're little gray fuzzballs. They get their bright color over time as they grow older. And that's by eating brine shrimp and other small fish that have high levels of keratin. That keratin is what gives them their bright pink color as they grow older. Oh, and what's great is that sometimes around this next area coming up, we get to see white rhinos. Now, I'm really hoping we'll get to see them today because they are such a great success story. They were nearly hunted to extinction for their horns, but thanks to anti-poaching laws and conservation efforts, we've been able to restore their population to a sustainable level. And I don't notice any. Okay, that's really weird. Let's really keep our eyes out, especially that mother elephant still missing. I really hope that they're okay. But take a look on the right, we've got a nest of ostrich eggs in the grass down here. Those are the largest eggs in the animal kingdom. Take a look at the size of them, and, no, ostrich. Okay. Now, something must have really scared off these animals for them, especially for ostriches to leave their eggs like that. We'll try to figure out what could have happened. Let's keep moving out here, see what we can find, and what could have scared off these animals. Where they went off to.
Timber One, I see you on the junction. I suggest you go west. It will be worth it.
Roger that, Wilson. Alright, folks, so the junction is right up ahead, so we're going to head west and see what we can find over there. But you know what? I think I know what could have scared off those animals as ostrich and white rhinos. Take a look directly to your left. Got some cheetahs back there. Very difficult to spot them. They're laying down very low in those woods. Directly to your left, laying extremely low. You can just barely see their spots and their heads. But those are the fastest land animals on Earth. They can reach speeds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. Which is way faster than this truck, so I think we're going to get out of here. Let's keep on heading down this path, though, seeing what other animals we can find around here. No way. There's actually a lion, two lions coming up on top of that hill. One of them is straight up ahead, laying down to the left of those large rock formations. You can see her laying down against the smaller rock on your left. And the male is laying down to the right of the rocks, laying down pretty low by that tree. Now, I'm really not surprised they're sleeping because most lions actually stay inactive for 18 to 20 hours each day. And they're nocturnal, so most of them awake at night when they do most of their hunting. And take a look up ahead, we've also got a white rhino. You can see it for a split second in the opening of these bushes up here on the right-hand side, but when I get a quick shot, if I get a picture, there's a couple of them up there. Now, they are larger than black rhinos. They weigh about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. Black rhinos only about 3,000 pounds. Also, typically, female white rhinos are typically larger than males. Really happy we got to see them. Most of those lions are sleeping, and I really don't want to disturb lions while they're sleeping. I don't think they're the smartest idea, so I think we'll leave it to their little 20-hour nap and try to come back a little later on when they're actually awake. Well, let's see what else we can find out here. Oh, take a look. There's a warthog on your left-hand side behind that tree back there to your left. And two of them. That makes these holes out here warthog burrows. Now, warthogs are the largest burrowing mammals in Africa. What they do is to help defend themselves against predators, they will back into their burrows and expose their tusks. But in case their burrows aren't nearby, they've got to run away. Their stubby little legs can help them get to speeds of about 30 miles an hour. Up to the right, another nest of ostrich eggs and an ostrich up here as well. The ostrich is eating. Now, ostrich are flightless birds, but they can reach speeds of about 40 miles an hour when they run. And they do lay their eggs like that in the middle of nowhere since they can't fly, so they just lay them on the grass, but that's why there's usually an ostrich in the area keeping an eye out on them. Let's see what else we can find out here.
Hey, Baba, there are poachers in the area. Can you help us cut them off?
What do you say, folks? Do you want to help Wilson cut off those poachers? Yeah? Alright, Wilson, we're on our way. Alright, folks, hold on back to this. There for the reason why that mother elephant went missing, and that baby's still out there all by itself, which really cannot be good at all. Oh, great. This is not good, folks. I think the poachers are trying to escape. Look at this smash of these geese. They'll try to grab to them. The road's got a little bumpy, so probably try to keep it careful, but probably going to want to remain seated back there. Wilson, this is Symbol 1. Can you help us out here? Any idea where those poachers could have run off to?
The poachers are heading east. Keep going, and you drive them to my platform. Over.
Alright, roger that, Wilson. We'll head in that direction right now. Oh, great, folks. It does look a little bumpy there, so probably going to want to hold on back there. Just hang and get through these bumps pretty fast. Hold on back there. Just a little bumpy. Oh, hurts to get us up ahead also. Sounds like they're trying to run up. Just trying to get to see what these guys. Just watch it on the right. Oh, great, even more up ahead. But what to make her run for us. Just whoa. Watch on the left-hand side over here. Just watch out on both sides. Got these geysers all over the place. Oh, no. Wilson, I see the poachers camp and it looks deserted. I think that we're a little too late.
Oh, not to worry. You drop them right into my patrol.
Roger, that's really folks trying to get you up to you. So hold on back there. Sounds like Wilson's got him. Oh, excellent, folks. Looks like our warrants have maybe managed to hide and see this baby African elephant. Definitely a good thing, but unfortunately it looks like we did manage to get up our scheduled track, and that means we have to cut that 2-week safari just a little short. Have to check in with the wardens, but I'll go ahead and drop you off at the nearest wardens post, and from there it's just a short hike back to Harambe Village. And I do want to thank you all so much for helping us to protect and conserve our local wildlife. It really means a lot to me. Just know that no matter where you live, there are always ways that you can help to protect and conserve the local wildlife in your own area. Also, has anybody back there checked out the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail yet? Anybody? No, not at all. Alright. Well, definitely going to want to check it out because you can see a lot of animals over there that you couldn't see on our safari. In fact, probably one of the biggest ones over there are those gorillas. So if you want to see gorillas, definitely check out that area. Also have another hippo pool over there. You can see more hippos. See some naked mole rats, some meerkats, a lot of reptiles and insects. So there are plenty of animals to check out over at the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail. Another thing over to do in Africa is Rafiki's Planet Watch. Take the Wildlife Express train over there. It's the only way to get to or from that area. Once over there, you can learn a lot about endangered species. Also great for smaller children. They have an affection section where you can pet some of the animals. So they also have a vet hospital in case you're interested in that. So definitely go and check out Rafiki's Planet Watch if you haven't done so already. Take the Wildlife Express train over there. By the way, since we had to cut our safari a little short, what we're going to do is we're going to sit here for the next 13 days trying to get back to this warden's post so you can enjoy those hard plastic seats. We'll be on our way in early January. It shouldn't be too long at all. Let's go for this one warden's post to clear out in front of us, and we should be on our way. Also, actually, now's the perfect time to remember to take any loose items you may have left behind. Definitely check those net pouches in front of you. anywhere on the floor, anywhere in those seats. Don't leave anything behind you. Might keep it on this truck with these bumpy roads long enough, you might as well take it back with you. Now, listen, there's just one thing left to say, folks. Is in Harambe, we really don't like to say goodbye, so instead we say Kwaharini, which means to go well. So Kwaharini, everybody. Alrighty, Sunday, thank you all so much. So do remain seated till we come to the full and complete stop. And remember, this is Africa. Don't be afraid to go a little wild out there. Tell them, Matthew.
Jumbo, hold symbol 1. Welcome back to the Warden's Post. Just watch your hands and feet as open these doors. Don't forget to check the net bags down in front of you.
Alright, thank you all so much for choosing Kilimanjaro Safaris. Come back and see us on the future safaris sometime real soon.